Good evening. It's Monday, March 10th, and welcome to Everyday Talk 24/7. Really great to start another week with you. We're talking about what are the foundations of a stable life. Jesus references this on the Sermon on the Mount, as he said, those who hear these words of mine, put them into practice, you build your house on a rock. And when the storms come and the difficulties of life come, the house will stand. But if you don't build it on this rock, but you build it on the sand, when these same storms come, you'll be devastated with a great crash. So the first element of this that we looked at is understanding this is God's world. That's foundational to everything. But just right on the heels of that, and really just as important, you and I are designed for relationships. God is relational. We are designed for relationships. And we look around us and we certainly see we are made for relationships. We're relational people. But here's the key, how we apply it here. If those relationships are built on the rock of wisdom, of putting God's truth into practice, then we will flourish and do well, even in difficult times, even when the storms come. Relationships, friendships, they will be sustained and withstand the heavy storms of life. But if they're built on sand, the foolishness of not trusting God's word, but doing relationships the way that we want to do them, then there will be devastation and there will be a great crash. You see, are your relationships built on things that are temporary or things that will last? Coming up on the screen right now, you'll see a picture of a beautiful beach house. But look carefully at what this beach house is built upon. Yeah, it looks great. It looks like a great place for a relationship. It looks a great place for a vacation, great place for enjoyment. But guess what? When the storms come, what's going to happen to that beach house? That's the way we have to look at relationships. Are we basing our relationships on things that are temporary, things that are just for the moment, things that are just for fun, or just for our enjoyment or excitement? Or are we basing them on things that will last? Just a couple of examples. One important reality. In all relationships, you are either influencing or being influenced. And sometimes they'll go back and forth. But we're either being influenced or we're influencing. Are we being influenced for good, or are we going to be influenced for the temporary? And then secondly, in your relationships, is there a shared commitment to bring honor to Christ? Is there a shared commitment to bring honor to Christ practically? A couple quick examples. And again, I'm going to talk more about this in upcoming ones, but just a couple of quick examples. Proverbs 27, verses 5 and 6, we read this. An open rebuke is better than hidden love. Wounds from a sincere friend are better than many kisses from an enemy. Sincerity, openness, trust, based upon the scriptures, those build relationships. A loving rebuke builds a relationship, not a nasty one, but one that's really designed to help. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Bad company corrupts good character. In other words, if we're not with someone in our relationships that are pointing us to bring honor to Christ, who are pointing us to honor God's word first, then we're being corrupted, even if we start off in the right place. A couple of questions. If you were struggling in this friendship, potential romantic relationship, But if you're struggling, how would those that are close to you, how would they respond? Would they turn away from you? Is the relationship dependent upon you being right all the time and able to help and do things and you being fine? Suppose you're struggling. And then if you're struggling, how would they help you? And then the second question, how would your relationship with people that you're close to, how would that change if the first question that you ask whenever you want to be involved in doing something, how would that change if the first question that you asked is how can we spend our time together to bring honor to God? I'm not talking about going to church necessarily. I'm talking about doing things that are helpful and productive. Things that are not selfish, but giving. Something that's going to build us up, where we can spend our money wisely instead of just to spend it. How would it change if the first question that you asked was how is this going to bring honor to God? Would you even be comfortable asking the question? This is the right question to ask at the beginning of potential romantic relationships. It's the right question to ask when you get to know someone. And we're going to talk more about this weekend. This is foundational because we are relational people. And the struggles that we have are so tightly connected to relational struggles. So again, a stable life, we're designed for relationships, but are those relationships built on the rock of the truth of God, or are they built on the sands of seeking pleasure and enjoyment first? Good things to think about. Again, love your thoughts and feedback. We'll continue on this because this is important. So great to be with you, and Lord willing, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night.